Hey everyone. So in this video, I'm going to go over the per unit opportunity, the idea of per unit opportunity cost with you. Now, the idea of per unit opportunity cost is really important for two reasons. One is that we can use it to figure out whether something is a constant opportunity cost or an increasing opportunity cost PPC. So we can use it to figure out whether that PPC is a straight line or whether it's a curved line. Because if the opportunity cost per unit is the same from one step to another, to another, to another, then we know it's a straight line. If the increasing cost per unit gets bigger, then we know it's increasing opportunity cost PPC. Having said that, we're also going to use this idea in our next model that we're going to be building next week, which is a super important model for economics. So this idea has kind of two big uses for it in the PPC and then also in our comparative advantage model that we'll be building next week. So how do we do this opportunity cost per unit? Well, with the PPC, I gave you some questions where I had you guys use the PPC schedule to do that, but you can also use a PPC graph to do this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to label these points here, A, B, C, D, and E. So I've got these 4 points here. And let's say I want to know, I asked the question, what is the opportunity cost of going from D to E? All right, well, at D, I have 500 pizzas and 8 cars, and I'm going to be going to 0 pizza and 10 cars. So what am I giving up divided by what am I getting? That's always our opportunity cost per unit, right? Or you can think of it as opportunity cost per unit gain. Opportunity cost, the word per means divide. Opportunity cost, what you're giving up, divided by what you're gaining. So in this case, I'm giving up 500 pizzas. So we get 500. I'm gaining 2 cars when I go from D to E. On the x-axis, I'm going up 8 to 10. So I've got 500 over 2 equals an opportunity cost per unit of 250 as I go from D to E. Now, let's compare that as we go from A to B. As I go from A to B on this graph, as I go from A to B, I'm giving up 100 pizzas to get 2 cars. So for A to B, I'm giving up 100 to get 2. That equals 100 divided by 2, which is 50. So my per unit opportunity cost from A to B is 50. My per unit opportunity cost from D to E is 250, 5 times greater. So that tells me that this is an increasing opportunity cost, which makes sense because I have a curved graph here, right? Now, what about the per unit opportunity cost of going from E to D? That's different because we're going in a different direction. E to D, right? I'm going to be, as I go from E to D, I'm going to be giving up 2, right? So my opportunity cost is 2. And as I go from D to E, I gain from 0 to 500. So I have 2 over 500, which is equal to 1 over 250. Notice that it's the reciprocal of us going the other direction. But the opportunity cost is different because I'm going in a different direction. So that when I go from E to D, my per unit opportunity cost is I give up 1/250th of a car for each pizza that I get, basically. So that's opportunity cost per unit. We can also do it with the supply schedule. So I could take that same information and I could just have it, pizzas, cars. And if I do 0 pizza, I get 10 cars. And if I do 500 pizzas, I had 8. And then I think I had 750 with 6. And then with, is that how it went? I don't remember. Whatever. I'll just make something up here. Cars, pizza, For 10 cars, it was 0 pizzas. For 8 cars, we'll say 500. For, let's say 6, we'll make it 750. We'll say 2, and then we'll say, or let's not even, I won't worry about that for time's sake. We'll just leave it like this, right? So I've got different options here. If I want to know my opportunity cost per unit, again, it's just what you give up for what you gain. So as I go from A to B, I'm losing 2 cars to get 500 pizzas. So my per unit opportunity cost is going to be 2 divided by 500, which is 1/250. To go from B to A, right? I'm losing 500 to get 2. My opportunity cost, so this is A to B, B to A. I'm giving up 500 to get 2. That's an opportunity cost per unit of 250. So you take what you're giving up divided by what you're gained, and that's how you find per unit opportunity cost. If it's the same every step of the way, you got a straight line PPC. If it's getting bigger, you have the increasing opportunity cost of PPC. And like I said, we're also going to be using this in another model next week. So that's why I'm kind of introducing it to you today. So that's that's calculating per unit opportunity cost using a PPC. I'll see you guys next week.